Good morning guys and welcome back to Stef ABtv. Welcome to another video, and behind me is the Cupra Formentor, the VZ2 model. And in this video I'm going to take for a quick drive because I've also driven this car in 2021 when it first came out, but also I've driven the VZ5, the 2.5 5-cylinder engine, and I want to see what it's like in 2023. Is it still what it's cracked up to be? And have we been shortchanged here in the UK, or is this enough and should you go and buy one? So I think we should first start quickly about looking at this car. Look how beautiful this car looks. I've always said from the get-go, the Cupra Formentor for me is such a good looking car. It looks extremely aggressive. Look at that front end. It is absolutely beautiful, particularly in this Nevada white. I think it works very, very well, particularly with the petrol blue interior. But what is this? So this is the VZ2. This comes in at £45,000. It's very, very well spec'd, and you get a hell of a lot of car for the money. I mean, look at that paint popping in the sun. It's beautiful. Because it's VZ2, you get all the stuff that's in VZ1 as well as the 19-inch wheels. But from an engine perspective, we get a 2-litre turbocharged engine in this car. It produces 310 PS or 306 brake horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque. It'll do 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 4.9 seconds, a top speed of 155. It runs a 7-speed DSG gearbox, which for me is a phenomenal thing. And you'll see in a moment once I get into the car just how good this thing launches. It's one of the unique selling points for me is how well this thing drives. The rear of the Cupra Formentor for me is where it's at. I mean, let me show you from this angle. Look at this. Look how good that looks. For a sports crossover, it is absolutely phenomenal. You can see we get the quad exhaust on this car. It just works. It's so aggressive. And also, because it's 4.9 seconds to 62, it's only 1,600 kilos, which is decent weight and size for this thing. And it just works. It looks so nice from pretty much every angle you look at. As I said, you get 19-inch wheels on this. It is on Bridgestone tyres. I would have preferred to see this on Michelin's, right? But it does still work extremely well. And from a side profile perspective, if you look at it, when it looks like sports crossover, it kind of still looks like a bit of an estate, right? One of the good things about this car is it's not the deepest boot, but it is very, very well sized. And of course, you've got these little toggles here. So all you've got to do is flick these either way and you flip the seats back. So extremely practical. You've got a ski hatch in the middle if you want to take this on a nice road trip to the Alps. It is a super cool thing. Electric tailgate, as you would expect. When you get into the interior as well, I'm going to start at the back because actually I've got the dog seat in here right now, but there is a hell of a lot of headroom in here as well, which I think is one of the most important things, particularly as the roofline kind of starts to slant. But you get super amounts of headroom. You get very, very nice petrol blue with these copper stitchings as well. Now, if we take a look at the front and look at the seats themselves, the seats are brilliant because not only are they electric motorized seats, you've got your memory setting here, but they are bucket style seats with the lovely Cupra embroidery here. You can see that here with the copper stitching following through, but they are heated and they have a lot of bolstering as well as lumbar support as well. Jumping into the car, you can see that bronze and blue theme continues throughout, which just works so well. And even here on the door cards, look, you've got some nice patterns there. So let's turn her on, because one of the things that you do get with the Cupra Formentor is a number of driving profiles. So you can see, again, when I talk about value for money, right, £45,000, nowadays, you can't really buy well, to be fair, a lot of these EVs are starting from around about 40 grand. I mean, the electric Abarth that I drove, it's about 38,000, and you get so much more car for the money with it. And one of the things that I really do like when you start to look at the interior is this steering wheel. Not only is it threaded with the copper stitching here, but you get the copper buttons, the copper logo here, but you get loads of buttons. You get heated steering wheel, you get adaptive cruise control, but also it's kind of like I've not really seen it publicized much, but I tried it the other day and I was surprised because I don't remember it being in the first car I drove. You get like level 2 autonomous driving. Now, I don't know if it's just a super enhanced lane assist that's doing a really good job. For me, this is where it's at, right? You get Apple CarPlay, massive screen. I mean, look at that. It's just perfect, right? Do you know what, a couple of years on and I still think that that DSG launch is still probably one of the best in the game. It is just so good. And the gearbox, the 7-speed gearbox, is just a delight to drive. And one of the things that I really wanted to kind of get under the skin of, revisiting the Cupra Formentor in 2023 when I first drove it a couple of years ago, especially after driving the VZ2, because the 2.5 5-cylinder, that is not coming to the UK, which is a massive shame. What I really wanted to know was, are we being shortchanged here in the UK? And if I'm completely honest, yes, we are a little bit, because you'd love to have a 2.5 5-cylinder, but this 2-litre turbocharged lump running 310 PS is more than enough of what you would need on the UK roads. And the thing that I love the most about this car is not necessarily its acceleration. I mean, its acceleration is good, but it's the versatility of it and the practicality element as well. Because you get kind of like two cars in one with this. I mean, first of all, it is kind of like a jacked up estate, right? And when I first drove this car, I did say that I wasn't sure it knew what it wanted to be, but over the years, I kind of get it now. And these sport crossovers are becoming more and more popular. They're not as big as SUVs, but they give you so much practicality. And right now I'm driving the Cupra Formentor in its Cupra mode, which provides you with stiffer suspension because it is adaptive suspension. I get this synthetic noise. And whilst I'm not necessarily always a fan of synthetic noise, I do kind of like this one. It does sound a little bit like an RS3. I said it in my first video. It does have that 5-cylinder grunt to it. But I mean, if I just slow it down again, because I mean, look at this. This is just such a launch. I can't find, there are not many cars that hook up like that on the launch. This is honestly, it's so good. And the thing I love about this as well is the way you sit. You know, you sit reasonably high, but not too high. You get all the practicalities and amenities that you get from an estate or like a hatchback, but it just feels like a brilliant car. And I think this is one of the things that I really like about the Formentor is, not only was it Seat or Cupra even's first kind of standalone product when they disconnected from Seat, but they did a really good job, and it really set the brand up to go and deliver what it's delivering today, because Cupra at the moment are doing a phenomenal job, not just in sales, but in the products that they're delivering. I mean, even as I type this right now, at IAA, the Frankfurt Motor Show, they're just unveiling the Dark Rebel, which again is just, it's just such a cool thing. Everything that Cupra stands for at the moment is, you know, about being a rebel and just being out there. And I have to say, the Formentor, even 2 years on, is definitely out there. You know, all you got to do is take a look at this interior, right? The interior on this car is nothing short of stunning. These seats that I'm in are so comfortable. Not only do they hug me really well, but they are really good at providing the right level of support, the right level of comfort, and the right level of styling. Everywhere in here with this kind of petrol blue interior, petrol blue Napa leather, the copper stitching and this blue leather dash, it just works. It's so good. The steering wheel is another really nice thing to have, especially in these modern day cars. They're all buttons. You get loads of different driving modes. If I get myself out of Cupra and I go into what is kind of the comfort mode, because you get comfort, you get Cupra, you get off-road, you get individual, but the comfort mode, a lot of this kind of stuff kind of settles down, the dampers become less aggressive, and it just works, man. And now you can hear that synthetic noise is kind of gone, right? But it's still a decent sound. It is that 2-litre engine you find in the S3 and the Golf Rs. It is a tried and tested 2-litre turbo air TSI engine, which is just, it's great. is honestly one of the best engines out there, and there's a reason why it's made itself into all of these Cupra products. Are there some cheapo plastics in here? Because, like I said, you do get a lot of car for the money. When these first came out, they're around 40 grand. With inflation now, this one here, I think it's around 45 grand, this specific car. And it is a VZ2. You get, actually, no, that's pretty good going. It is pretty good going. Some plastics in. These paddles are a little bit, I would have preferred to see nicer paddles. But overall, the driving experience, the interior luxury, it's really, really nice. It really is. And I love this kind of bronze and blue theme that worked its way throughout the car. However, it's not perfect. We'll go back into Cupra mode. The driving is pretty perfect. Those gear changes, lightning quick. Like I said, the driving for me is pretty spot on. The seating position is pretty spot on. The steering is good. It doesn't feel numb. It feels engaging. But infotainment is where it lacks that. It's not good unless you stick Apple CarPlay on. I just don't like it. I remember when I drove the new Golf GTI, that new infotainment system, they almost try a little bit too hard, and they don't have the greatest, it's not as intuitive as you like it to be. However, you chuck Apple CarPlay in here and most of it solves itself, so that is a good thing, right? But it's a massive screen, but it's kind of wasted because all you're going to use it for is CarPlay. There's a real lack of buttons, so everything from heated seats, all of that kind of stuff, your climate control, all needs to be done by the touchscreen, which is extremely distracting when you're driving. You've got these slider buttons here as well, which I'm not really a fan of, and at night as well these don't light up, so it makes it even more of a pain. But to summarize the driving experience, it is a very good car. It just picks up so well, and this is a car that you would absolutely love driving in all circumstances. It is a car that you should go out and buy, genuinely. I think as an overall piece of equipment, 2 years on, it's still for me one of my favorite crossovers, from a performance perspective, from a styling perspective, from an interior perspective, from a practicality perspective, and also from a space perspective. I love this car. 2 years on, Cupra have absolutely still nailed it. It's still extremely valid, and it still sits high up there on the cars that you should go and buy list for me. But if you did enjoy this very quick review revisiting the Cupra Formentor, please smash the like. Comments are always welcome, and I will see you all very soon on the next video, guys. Take care. Bye bye.